Independent music, the triangle of musicians, fans and music professionals. This is Tim from the Indie Bands blog, and welcome once again. Who's on today? Let's go find out. I pronounce your name as Adam Elara, but you're probably going to tell me that it's pronounced differently.
You know what? Because you have an awesome accent, you're free to do whatever you want. Seriously, like, it sounds so much more epic when you say it, so I'm just going to let you have it.
Hi, welcome to Indie Music Tips number 14, and this time I'm with Adam Elara of the US band Southern Nights, and we're going to have a chat about social media. Hi, Adam.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, and thanks for sparing me the time.
Of course.
One of the early programs in the series was looking at connecting with fans from the aspect probably more of owning your own website and one or two other aspects around that. But obviously people are using social media and it's become an important tool. So it would be really interesting to get your thoughts on how to make the most of social media. And here we're probably talking mainly about Facebook, Twitter, maybe a bit about Google+, but wherever it might be. Social media is something that seems to be working for Southern Nights. What do you put that down to, Adam?
Well, it comes down to a lot of different factors, because we don't just, what a lot of mistakes that we did and a lot of other bands will do is that they'll simply promote their band to their friends that are on Facebook in hopes that it will reach out to other people and things like that. And to be honest, your friends don't really care about your band as much as they may like the music. They really don't, and because they know who you are and they know what you've, they know everything about you. So really, it's different. It's a different connection than you have when someone finds your music and appreciates it. So what we've been doing, what I did last year, was that after a show, I would hand out maybe like 50 to 100 free CDs of demos that we had with all of our social media links on there. And,
right.
And what that did is it really spreads the word in real life, and so that way when they walk away from your show, they connect with you back online. But we've also been doing a lot of things where we've been using things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even Tumblr, for reaching out to different people through the internet, and it's been very, very nice, and it's been growing, which is awesome.
Do you find that the different platforms have a different style of communication that you need to use to make it work?
Oh, definitely. Every single one of these platforms, if you will, have a different. The way you use them is different. First of all, the way people connect with each other is different. Where Facebook, where people are sharing photos and messages and posts, and their instant messaging is totally different than what you're doing on Tumblr, because you don't have instant messaging. You're communicating through reblogging and simple messages like that. It's completely different. And with Twitter, you're limited to only a certain amount of characters you can use. And Instagram, you can't instant message anyone. You can only comment, and it's always in a public forum, and it's all through photos. So what we do is we try to learn. We use it as if we are using it, rather than trying to shove something down someone's throat. We're just like all the rest of the users. And that's what the difference is.
I think that's perhaps a very important point, because one of the things about social media is it's so easy to broadcast and to forget to actually ever to listen to what anybody's saying to you. So I guess what you're saying is that to get the best out of social media, you have to become part of that community.
Definitely.
Now, you've got your social media platforms, you're using it. What value does it bring to the band, other than you've got say 10,000, 5,000, 500, whatever it might be, followers on Twitter or on Facebook. What difference does that actually make to the band?
Well, what it does for us is it allows us to reach an audience and people that we probably couldn't have without the internet. It's very different than maybe 10, 20 years ago, where the only way you can reach out to people is you go and play clubs in different areas. Now we're seeing messages coming in from different countries we've never even either heard of or been to, and it's amazing. And they really like what we're doing. And, we'll use things like Google Translate to try to communicate with them because, Rosetta Stone can only do so much for us right now.
Yeah. Google Translate is a godsend, isn't it?
Definitely, especially.
I was just reviewing a Russian band today, and one of the links that they send over to me was to the Russian social media equivalent of Facebook, and yeah, there it was, right at the top of the page, Google Translate, and it suddenly all made sense.
Yeah, no, man, it definitely helps a lot, and sometimes the translation's a bit off, and I get confused, and they get confused, but we somehow manage to make it work.
You get there in the end, yeah. Does it help? Does the social media aspect help from the point of view of selling material, or is it just about building a profile to do something else with?
Okay, so we're a relatively new band. I mean, we only had one single come out with the old lineup, and now we're about to come out with our first album in a couple months. And we just recently had some wristbands come out. The only people who have bought those wristbands are people who are thousands of miles away from us, and they would have never even heard of our band had it not been for the internet. So yeah, social media is great for selling your product if you're doing it right. And we're hoping we're doing it right, and it's getting there.
Obviously, one of the problems that all bands have is time.
Yes.
Trying to run half a dozen things at once is always problematical. To get the best out of social media, what sort of split of time do you need to use? And by that, I don't mean how much of your day does that take, although we can come to that a little bit as well, perhaps. But you talked about you need to be part of the community. How much time would you advise, or does it, again, depend upon the platform, between your broadcasting and your actually getting engaged with your followers and your fans and what they're doing? Okay.
Well, that's a good question. Basically, everyone's different, and each of these platforms attract different people. The people on Tumblr are very different than the people that are on Facebook. And, within your own band, you should be able to figure out who would fit within these certain things, who's running certain things. And you can, just by that, you can be like, all right, my advice to other bands would be like, divvy up the social media sites to different people. That way, you're doing what you like. You're not being forced to communicate on a platform that you probably would not want to. Someone in your band has got to like Instagram or Twitter, or Tumblr or Facebook. These things were created so they can communicate to different people. And within a band, not everyone's going to be the same type. You have your introvert, you got your extrovert, and those things work within the social media platform. So that's how I would suggest doing that. That's what we do. So.
Sure. And what about the amount of time that you spend commenting or responding to what other people are saying as opposed to broadcasting what you're saying yourselves?
Okay. Well, we're at that point where we're very grateful that we do have people, communicating with us and stuff like that through these platforms. And, just don't waste your time doing anything else, really, unless it's actually making music and designing stuff. But we reply to everything that we get.
Right.
Like every single message we get, we make sure we reply. If it's a comment on any of the stuff that we get, we reply back. We want to make sure that we can do that, and we have the ability to do that right now because we don't have to the point where we can't do it. as
Yeah.
some bigger bands have that issue where they can't communicate directly to their followers and stuff, and we have the luxury to do that. So
Sure. Okay, well that's some interesting thoughts on social media. What about Sutherland Nights? You say you're relatively new. I know that you've had a few songs put up onto a soundtrack, and we'll finish the interview with one of those songs. And it may be good to talk at some other point about sync deals, because I know that that's a very important issue to a lot of bands as a potential revenue stream. But where are Sutherland Nights, and what are you guys all about?
well, right now, 3/4 of the band we're located in Houston, Texas. And our bassist Andy, he's out in California right now. He's finishing up some school stuff, and he's going to be moving down here once that's all done with. But basically, we're a new band, and last year we pretty much just recorded some demos in garages, kitchens, and just really experimental stuff that we did. It wasn't really we were just trying a bunch of different sounds out, and then we just started playing shows left and right. Just to basically no one, just because we wanted to play shows. And this year, we've got some new members going on, and it's going really well. We're about halfway done recording our first album right now.
I look forward to that, and hopefully get a review written up once that's ready to roll.
Oh, definitely, you'll have it before really anyone else does.
You're so kind. And what about you've mentioned that you played a few live gigs because you wanted to do it. Is that something that you're going to start doing once you guys come back from California?
When we
you're going to be out on the road more
with this album, we're going to do our best to start touring immediately. We want to go, now that we've had people being very nice to us through the internet, we want to go and meet them. We want to go and play shows for them and hang out with them afterwards and all that kind of stuff. So right when the album's over, we're going to be getting ready to go on tour.
It sounds like some exciting times coming up for you guys. And I know from your social media pages that you are doing very well on it. So people that are listening to it might think, new band, what are they up to? Go and have a look at their numbers counts and the interaction that goes on in their social media pages. And you might get some good ideas from there and some good thoughts. So really appreciate that, Adam. And I know that you let me get away with your surname, which I still don't know how to pronounce properly, but in English it's Adam Elara. Thanks very much, and speak to you soon.
Thank you very much.